Welcome everyone to the inaugural Four Nations Ultimate Tournament. We are slowly coming to the end of this round robin play, looking into the horizon at the bronze medal and the gold medal matches. Had a fair few really exciting matchups there, as you can see some of the results already from today. We're currently in beautiful Glasgow, Scotland, and my name is Gigi Morrison. I'm very delighted to be joined here in the booth with Hannah. Hannah, would you like to introduce yourself, and also how have you found today so far? What are you looking forward to in this game?
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me. I am so looking forward to seeing this matchup. There's some big players in here in terms of the power that they have. Particularly the male matchups I'm quite excited for. There's Rodri Williams, he's Chevy currently. Big, powerful player, both sides of the disc, really reliable. Then you have players like Joel Terry on the Scotland side and Ronan Kelly. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is my home turf, and for the Scotland players, this is a big opportunity to show what they have. And they maybe haven't connected fully yet. They're just getting into the swing of it. The wind is difficult. Yeah, excited. Who do you think is going to come out on top? What do you think?
It's really difficult to predict, like as you said, and we've been saying this all day. Each of the nations has their own kind of personality and quirks. So Ireland and Scotland, as independent teams, have been able to utilize their chemistry. They probably have the most chemistry out of all four of the teams. Just having played for each other for so many years, their ultimate communities are much smaller, so by nature they get to play with each other a bit more. And I kind of hope that Scotland will try and leverage that against Wales, but we've seen so much grit and fire from Wales all day. It's honestly, again, could go any way, and it's exciting for that reason.
So exciting. I think they definitely came in as underdogs, didn't they? But just absolutely bringing it with the fire. Let's go.
Great reception of the pull from Boxall. Dishes over to Mackie. Kelly having to extend in his run. Bates. Oh, beautiful work from Scotland. What a way to start the game.
Absolutely. So Bates, number 61, is a big downfield receiver on the O-line for Glasgow Ultimate, and she absolutely, I don't know how, but every time she gets free on that slash across. She's really quite a powerful player, and Karina Aitken just knows where to be in the end zone. Just knows what to do. It's great.
Yeah, it's a solid start for Scotland, a really definitive way to stamp whatever pressure that they can and they need to against this Welsh side. I think they've gone into it knowing that Wales have been really hungry.
Yeah, and definitely Scotland looked a bit tentative in their cuts in their previous game, but coming out with a set play like that, knowing who they're getting it to, really seems to have started them off really well in this game.
Mickael with the roller pull.
Oof, I like that. That is wonderful pull.
Yeah, we've been questioning whether roller pulls will be effective today, but every single time it's worked out really well. Tidwell tried to stop it towards the back of the end zone, but if anything, it's kind of worked in his favor. He gets to now jaunt it up to the front line. Looking for that initial under option. Didn't like the option from Stalin, so looking to Lees. Finds Davies, almost catches it in the face.
Oh, good under defense here from Scotland. Pushing them right out to is this the low side over here? Good grab.
Great feet from Stalin. The stall count was tickling 8 or 9 at that point. Does so again. This Scottish defense just really mounting pressure. A nice casual catch from Mickael. Looking for Harman Carter, but off the fingertips, just spinning off one of the captains for the Scottish side.
I do like this more expansive play from Scotland, using more of the field, looking more relaxed, using more space. And then on this defense, I reckon we're going to see them sit underneath again, force them to take these big swings that get caught by the wind and get taken. And to be honest, that's a fantastic grab, but that was right on the sideline there under pressure.
And a classic Tom Lees backhand. Absolutely phenomenal shot, but even better defense from Terry. Trying to shut down Rodri Williams in that deep space. Again, somebody that we've mentioned time and time again, who's incredible on both sides of disc, defensively and offensively. Lim tries to look for Gordon.
Any edge on these discs really gets taken by the wind, don't they? They get swept away. It's tricky.
The Scottish defense really slowing down, stopping the under options. Tidswell does find Ritu. Ritu with the inside shot. Another flying block from Agnew.
Wow. And the big shot straight away.
Has Harbin Carter again in that deep space. You can see that they really trust her as a receiver.
Definitely. She's got speed on her. She played for GB under 24s a couple of years ago. Big, deep receiver. She got a lovely little salmon catch on that. Highlight reel somewhere. Yeah, very reliable receiver. Good speed. Oh, we got a turn again.
Yeah, Williams saw that Ritu was wide open on this sideline. Through maybe slightly too floaty of a flick on that break side space. Speaking of floaty, well collected from Lim. Safe catch in the chest from Gordon. Agnew towing it in, and it's given us a goal. First break. Second break, apologies.
Oh, I've again seeing Scotland cut with confidence, knowing whose role it is. They had a vert stack system in the end zone there, knowing that when McNeil took that first cut, that he was out, and then Gordon knew that it was her job to come in. I think the Wales defense is slightly caught out by Scotland just knowing what the plan is, and Terry coming in with blocks. Obviously, that helps too.
Absolute ripper of a backhand.
I'm enjoying seeing these big shots. It's very tricky in the wind. A lot of them in previous games have come out either very low and flat and the receiver can't quite catch up, or they come very high and angled. That was a lovely deep shot there. Really well balanced.
Yeah, Tom Lees is never afraid to throw it deep. He's been a deep thrower, massive handler for Smog for many years now. Also recently played European Masters Championships in Malmö, or Lund in Sweden.
See this great Scottish defense again. Oh, Sully with the disc.
Not sure whether Sully actually intended to release that or hesitated on the initial fake.
Well, lovely poach in the lane there from 44 Haynes.
Mackie trying to find the open side option, but dishes back to Hiley. It looks like there's a call in the end zone.
I think it's 77 from Wales here, and Boxall for Scotland. Maybe a bit too much contact here on the force, on the mark, trying to get free. I think we're back in.
Flick force from Wales.
Right out the line there from Mackie, number 17. Boxall for the score.
Beautiful work. That's 3 goals up for Scotland. Wales have got a little bit to answer for. It's only been just over 7 minutes. They've got a little bit of time still, but interesting.
I'm surprised. I think Wales, like we said, absolutely coming in as underdogs, but they came out fiery in the first few games. I wonder if we don't quite have that same fire coming into this. Maybe got a little bit overconfident, a bit complacent. I'm not sure. We need a bit more fire, I think.
I would say that fatigue is going to play a role here as well. They have just come off a pretty exhausting game against Ireland. The games themselves are only 40 minutes long, and you do have a shorter field to work with, but some of those points were having 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 turnovers. Lots of hands on knees, taking their time in between. So it was definitely exhausting, and having to then come back out again pretty much on a back-to-back game against a fresh Scottish team. I do not envy this Welsh side.
Oh, Lees with the disc again.
Didn't like the initial dub option, but took the under from Jackson. Scooping backhand underneath to Williams. Also sitting quite low, Stalin. Finds Williams in the backfield. Swing across. Beautiful work from Wales.
Lovely. I think that's Lee's coming in earlier with that huge huck has made Scotland maybe a little bit nervous of those deep shots coming in. So then when the Wales cutters went to threaten the deep, the Scotland had to honour that. So then they had these massive undergains that they could get here. And they were just open under, and then just a little bit more patience, a big swing, and a lovely inside shot here. Is this from Williams? Yes. Hitting across on the far side here. And then just really well timed on the side. Lovely touch on that throw from Davies.
Yeah, that's fundamentals 101. Just do the simple things nice and easily, and it should work out pretty comfortably. Mud with the pull for Wales. That one doesn't roll quite as far, but Mackie fields to Boxall. The Wales defense kind of sagging off the handlers, looking for that deep shot to Bates. Having to go to ground just off the fingertips, taking an injury. I'm not too surprised at that. It's unfortunate.
Again, a lovely deep shot from Ronan Kelly there. That was lovely weight on that. Just a little bit too far for Bates to reel it in. Again, another GB under 24 player who has absolutely excelled in the last year or so. Played with Glasgow, now with Alba. Very reliable deep receiver.
The high stall count, trying to relieve the pressure from the defense. Sully looked at it for a second and then thought, no, it's gone a bit too far.
I don't mind it, a bit of huck and D. We've seen elements of that in the games before. I think the wind has settled a little. It looks a little calmer.
Yeah, we can't really judge the wind up here quite personally. We're very much isolated in the clubhouse.
And in fact, the sun is coming through and it's lovely and warm.
Yeah.
Right.
So Mackie under pressure from that catch. Dishes across the Boxall to Hiley. The flick fake, doesn't like any of the options. Higher stall count. 1, 2, 3 Welsh defenders picked off by Mudd. Turner looking for Haynes. Intercepted beautifully by Henry. Mackie again calling for calm. Taking their time. Boxall. Henry. Slash across the middle. And then dish back. This is some beautiful offense from Scotland. Just finding the first open receiver possible.
They're finding, I think they're trusting their throwers as well with these tricky slashes across for these inside breaks. And it's coming off. They've got the space. Nice around.
Again, we mentioned fundamentals 101 in that last point, but Scotland have answered back with their own schooling of how to just do the basics really well until Boxall uncorks it to Hiley. My goodness, that is classic Andrew Boxall, if I say so.
I did enjoy the timing of classic 101 Frisbee and absolute, that was a flick blade there, which Hiley did just, she was free and just waited for it to come right into her chest there. Yeah. Seeing a bit more confidence from Wales here coming in, a bit more energy. But yeah, Scotland just finding the spaces currently.
Yeah, fantastic shot from Andy Boxall. Andy Boxall having stepped away from Frisbee over the last few years, but has played for, I'm not even sure how long. He's previously played for Alba in the club scene. He's also played for GB Under-24s in the mixed division. He was my teammate there. When we played, when we were in Australia, we kept chanting whenever Andy would do something amazing, we all dream of a team of Andy B's. And that throw is exactly why.
Yeah. Yeah, he was Black Eagles as well back in the day, which they went to World Club Championships and came 12th, I believe. Absolutely showing Scotland is a force to be reckoned with in Ultimate. Mackie was also on that squad. Powerful team.
Yeah, a lot of chemistry within the Scottish side. And Wales really having to claw their way back against that same chemistry. Lim choosing to sit in the lane and pressure on the underneath. The throw from Stalin, unfortunately not able to come off. I do love the Jenkins-Mackie matchup.
Ah, yes.
Oh, sorry, it's Jenkins Tate. Even better.
Yeah, Tate definitely a big threat for Scotland. We see them get big blocks, big scores. He's so willing to put his body on the line. Hardman Carter for the reset. Oh, just above her head. I think the resets is a lot what this comes down to, actually. That the pressure is on for throwing these throws into the wind when the store count is already high, and the pressure on the defense makes this really tricky.
Yeah, the more opportunities that you have to turn over, so the more shots you have to make. It's definitely tricky, but Wales doing a phenomenal job just outside the end zone here with two. Blades over the top to Williams, tipped off by Tate. Tate immediately going deep, but nobody's picking it up until now with Lim. Looking for Tate, he can just jog his way into the end zone. Wales looking tired, but Scotland with the 4-point buffer.
Looking a bit more comfortable now. Beautiful shot from Natasha Lim there. Another Black Eagles alumni. And currently Smog?
Yes,
Smog.
she's my teammate as well.
Gigi very proudly said earlier, yeah, she's my teammate. I know her very well. Yeah, excellent player. I've not seen her play before, but that is a beautifully weighted deep shot there. And again, just that reset. If they lose the focus just for a second, the wind is so punishing. Any edge, any lift on it is going to take it away.
Yeah, immediate pick up and rip from Lim. And Tate knew that he could take his time in for that catch. I'm surprised that Wales haven't taken a timeout at this point. They do have that available to them. We're not even halfway through the game though, so I will give them that. They might take one not much longer on from now, but 4-point buffer is not something to sniff at. Sully looking at his options, finds Lees. Sully immediately streaking deep, but Haynes available on the under. To Mudd.
Nice movement here, working this inside space.
Haynes still available on the under, but sitting in that deep space. Turner trying to blast deep himself. Good to see that he's back on the field. Took a bit of a nasty shoulder dive in the previous game against Ireland.
And I enjoy, it was probably going out as a throw, but there's been a lot of throws in previous games that have just been caught by the wind slightly strangely, that the players thought it was absolutely not an option, and it's just stayed and hung, that if they'd carried on, they possibly could have got there. So I enjoyed him running after that, running it down just in case.
Kelly. Looking for Boxall, didn't like the options, takes Mackie instead. Mackie also shooting deep for Henry. Henry having to move further left, doesn't even need to move that much, just outside the end zone. Looking for Kelly, and do so. My word, this is the biggest separation and showing that we've seen so far today.
I think you're definitely right. Coming into this game, having just come off one where the wind was probably at its highest from what we could maybe tell from up here, and those marathon points, there were a few that in the commentary we were not sure if it was a break or not because it had just been so long ago, just having to grind it out on the field for such a long time, and then having to come up and play against such fresh legs as well.
Great composure from Henry, making sure that the disc was in the right place. Could have easily gotten suckered in. There's that timeout that I thought that Wales were going to call quite a while ago. But yeah, just making sure that it was going to be received well into her fingertips and then floated out perfectly onto that open side. So just whilst the teams take a bit of a timeout, would you be able to tell me a little bit what this tournament means? Not just the Scottish Ultimate, but like a little bit behind the Four Nations Ultimate.
So there was a player called Matt Tomlinson who was a big part of the Frisbee community in Scotland, in Glasgow. There's an Ulti-World article about him and about his influence, and he was the loudest player on the field, the loudest player on the sideline. He was constantly pushing his teammates to get better, to keep improving, to keep bringing more people into the sport, and played with Glasgow at Worlds. He tragically passed away in 2018, but he just wanted to show that Scotland had so much to give in the ultimate community and just his passion for the sport. So this tournament in a big way is a tribute to him, and is supported in part by his family to bring people into the sport and to bring incredible ultimate to Scotland. Yeah,
it's a tragic and beautiful story, where we do get a wonderful result out of it like this, and we're hoping that we can get more events like this year on year, because what an event it's been so far. It's been phenomenal to see ultimate players and just ultimate fans coming and supporting their friends, their teammates, their family, whatever. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Particularly the Scottish family and friends coming. The noise on the sideline when you go down.
Contested catch just outside the end zone for Tate. That is the second phenomenal grab that we will have seen from Tate. One of the previous games he got in the back corner of the end zone, just a flying fingertip grab.
Oh, it's called not in.
Dish back to Lim. Has Hartman Carter available in the end zone, but just suckered away by Stalin.
Right on the front of the end zone is not... I do not envy that position to have the disc at all. Just the panic you feel of, I need to score, but I need to be calm. Oh, just slipped away from him that time. Just a little bit too keen to get it done.
Yeah, having your own brain scream, stay calm at you doesn't really help.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Williams finds Stalin. Tidswell not anticipating that. It's coming right down close towards his hip. And Scotland taking their time on this one. Lim marches up to the disc.
Oh, we've got a Williams-Terry matchup here. We love to see that.
GB teammates from last year. And Williams was hungry for that D there. Looking for Jackson. Does
bit
find him.
Bit scrappy, but it worked.
For two. Dishes back to Williams. Soars over the top for Jackson. Wales with another score, stemming the bleeding for now.
I enjoyed that offense from Wales. It was smoother. There was more movement there. I wonder if that's helping them to get a bit more give and go, a bit more moving the defense away from their positioning. Maybe being a bit braver. We saw this up the line that came out a little funky, but the receiver was all over that. Ritu very ready for that reception, taking her time. Yeah. Nice offense from Wales here.
Yeah, they may seem like, under normal circumstances, they would be funky throws, but again, the wind conditions do just make you have to completely turn over every single page in your playbook and think, okay, I've got to pull everything out of the bag at this point, especially when you're already 5 points down.
Absolutely. Sully ready with a pull. Very helpfully, very recognizable with his, what would you call this hat? Is it a bucket hat? It's not quite a bucket. Is it a bucket?
The mini bucket.
Mini bucket.
Small bucket. And the ski shades.
Oh, is this a zone from Wales here? Oh, and it's worked.
It does look like a zone. Jenkins immediately picks up the Scotland D swarming around that front end zone line. Has Lung available and takes her on.
Good composure again from Wales here.
Turner calling for calm and structure. The Lung available. Mudd is available in this front end zone corner. Just being poached by Hiley. Haynes marks out Lung up the line. Oh my goodness, first break for Wales. That must be a bit of relief here. Just over 17 minutes left. They can still claw their way back. They're not out of it yet.
Oh, definitely. We've seen a 3-point margin reduce, I believe. But yeah, this is they've made it harder for themselves than other games. I enjoyed seeing the zone there. I think I'm slightly surprised more teams haven't done it, especially with this chaotic wind conditions. With the buildings around that we have here, the trees, the wind really does swirl and changes quite a lot. It's quite unpredictable. So a zone could be a good way to confuse the offense, get in the way, get in the spaces. But I wonder whether having 6 players means it's a bit of a tricky job to work out where to put people, where the spaces are, maybe too much space. But it worked. Took them by surprise. An immediate turn in the end zone.
Even a poachy handler set at the front and just doing more match marking downfield, I think could be a bit more disruptive rather than just person-to-person matchup. But if people are going to trust themselves to get that one-on-one, then do it. Wales come back out with this zone look. Sully skulking in the deep space and picks it off. We're seeing Scotland's composure starting to falter slightly. Tidswell on the second reception. Trying to look for Haynes. Wrong edge causes it to die pretty quickly.
Wonder if we'll see the zone. Yep, the zone's back out again. And it's worked 2 for 2, so I'm not surprised.
Lim was available in that central space, but Turner's now picked her up. McNeil to Terry, back to McNeil. Trying to look for Lim. Turner to Haynes. Haynes looking deep herself. I thought Tidswell was going to go back into that deep space, but he's immediately sticking his hands up and apologizing, not realizing that that was for him.
Maybe a little bit unexpected for them there, but that was a nice shot from Haynes there. She's like, her strength seems to be as a receiver, but she absolutely has those big throws as well.
Yeah, she's currently playing for deep space, so I'd imagine that they've trained her up a bit more. I'm not saying that she was bad in the first place. I'm just saying that they've possibly helped to make her an even more well-rounded player. A quick turn gives Wales the short field pitch. Turner to Tidswell. Second break in a row. We're now 3 points of a buffer.
Bit of a momentum shift happening here. That switch up in the defense has definitely caught Scotland off guard, where they had lots of space underneath before. Condensed. I think as well, Joel Terry absolutely has those deep shots, but I wonder whether Wales are aware of that and not afraid to bait it a little bit with the wind. No, it's unpredictable.
I mean, something I've noticed from Scotland playing so far, we've seen Tate on a few times, but honestly not that much. I don't know whether he's not fielded himself or they've not fielded him, and they seem to be more reluctant in taking deep shots. I don't know whether it's because of his absence, but yeah, we're not seeing that as often, and it's quite surprising.
Let's see what they go with here. So we got Bates again in the underspace, and the zone is back.
Mackie calling for Boxall to come in a bit closer. Swings across to Kelly. Moving in this backfield. It's trickier to... Oh, there we go. There's that turn. I was just about to say it's tricky to get enough handlers in that backfield space when you've only got 6 players in the field rather than having 4 in the backfield space. You have to stick with the usual 3. Sully trying to find that dump option release. Mackie with the pressure underneath. Williams considering a foul call. On the sideline, sticking their hand up for a brief perspective, which they can take if they'd like it. To just get another look. There did seem to be some contact through the back shoulder. I'm not sure how it affected, but it's been retracted, accepted as a turn.
I wonder if it was enough contact to maybe surprise him if he was there, but it didn't look like he had full control of the disc when it came. But we have a turn anyway.
Henry, almost into Mackie's face. Boxall, Mackie immediately goes up the line. A little cheeky flat hammer over the top to Kelly. Bates, good to see them back on the field. Boxall having to go full extension on tippy toes. Looking for Aitken in the back corner, and what a fantastic grab.
That was asking a lot of Aitken, and she delivered there. Wow. There was some nice expansive throws in that, getting through that zone, and then just Bates taking her time with the disc, turning around, finding a good option. I think the defense is still making them think more, making them make these passes. We saw them trapped on the sideline. And again, through a lot of these matches, we've seen even the easier throws if players aren't concentrating, the wind will punish them and drop them down like this one we saw here. So I think getting them to make lots of passes is probably a good idea here.
And you could see from the score that Aitken got, as we get another look at that beautiful hammer over the top, I think you could kind of watch her thought process of, oh, it's for me. Oh, that's going too far. Wait, no, I can still get it. And you can kind of see that play through almost here, going, again, full extension, high release grab, not having to leave the ground, though, thankfully. And what a way to hold on.
Aitken, one of the players, along with Bates, who is again and again putting her body on the line for the team.
The wind speed has definitely picked up again over the last few minutes. You can see in front of us we've got a bunch of the gazebos protecting the TD desk, and they are blustering quite a fair bit. Terry on the close sideline. Behind to Lim. Wales with this zone set up again.
Getting two bigger male matching players in this cup as well. Making them think about how to get it round the big wingspan, big height.
I love that flick shot from Lim. And completely isolated in the end zone. McNeil to Agnew. Goodness me, that is how you completely decimate a zone.
Yeah, it took them a few points to get the hang of it, but I think they're really going with confidence now, using the wind to their advantage. Actually, that blade made it, the wind took it faster across to where the isolated player was. Bit of a fright there for Agnew.
Yeah, having to fully concentrate on making sure that he was able to receive that. That's that release valve shot from Lim. And as you mentioned, beautifully bladey backhand. No, that's not a backhand, that is a flick. I was going for the alliteration and said the wrong thing.
It sounded great. It sounded great.
It sounds great, but it's just wrong.
Yeah. Oh, a flick pull.
I love it. Roller one as well. Jenkins choosing to just stop the roll rather than actually taking the pull itself. The defense had an opportunity to set up. Sully. Through two. Davies. Going for a roller catch. Ritu up the line.
Lovely flick up the line again.
Back to Williams. Ritu is going into that deep space. Sully having to go to knees to catch that on the underneath. Quite a few options. Stalin in that underspace. Ritu slashing onto the open side just a bit too far. A little too much mustard on that throw.
The Wales receivers doing well there, getting in front of each of their defenders, attacking the disc, getting there first. Some under pressure throws, quite a few in a row there, but they managed to come up on top. Just slipped away. Lovely roll there from Ritu there.
Bates calling for the dump to be looked at. Henry was slightly poached, but Boxall finds Kelly. Strong and stable grab. Floats over the top to Mackie. It does sink. Not an easy catch to make at all. Wales with another opportunity. And taking their time now. Sully's not really rushing to get to the disc. Honestly, really beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to say. The defense was face marking, and it meant that Stalin had wide open space in the end zone.
Lovely weight on the disc, right into the receiver's hands. I believe on the sheets that we were given with the information, and in the program as well, Sully claims he's a cutter, but here we are with a beautiful assist right here. Wales are a little bit light on the sheet for players who are dedicated handlers, but you wouldn't really know that watching them. They are consistent with these throws, getting lots of spin out into space. I think there's only maybe one or two that are handlers here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the sheet at who is calling themselves a cutter. Yeah, Sully's calling himself a cutter, is not a cutter. Andrew Turner said hybrid, so fair. but he's been more of a handler. Harry Tidswell called himself a cutter. He's not cut. He's been handling this whole game. It's great. It means that people are flexible and they're much more hybrid players, which I think is the way to go, really.
And speaking to Sully before the game, he was saying he thought the Wales' strength would really be their adaptability. These players who can switch between roles, get used to playing with different people very quickly, because there's a big spread of club teams here across their team. I think at least 10. But as we've seen from their results, they have managed to find this chemistry quickly. Just one training weekend together, and they've adjusted to their roles. It's very impressive.
A quick in-out discussion from Gordon. From my perspective, it was definitely in, so I'm glad that that has held in Scotland's hand. The Scottish offense making quick work of this Welsh zone. Beautiful give goes across the back through the middle. Lim just outside the end zone finds McNeil. Dish over the top to Gordon, who is completely unmarked. Agnew second guessing, and unfortunately that almost went into his face. Just bobbled off.
We've seen quite a few face or nearly face catches today so far. Thankfully no broken noses as far as we're aware.
There's somebody who recently got hit in the face by a disc in a hand. It's not fun, so I'm glad that it's not happened yet. Jackson with the scooping backhand. We've seen that quite a few times. That's just the first time that it's not been as successful. Blade across, finds Lee's instead, more effectively known as Yellow.
Do you know where that comes from? I saw that on the sheet. I wasn't aware of what it meant.
I forget every single time. This is the worst part, because he's also one of my teammates. Lim, high release to Agnew this time. It doesn't bobble. No hesitation needed.
Lovely throw there.
Yeah, 3-point separation. Just over 4 minutes left to go. I think that's, hesitate to say, but I think that's pretty much sealed the deal here.
Left themselves a lot to do. It did seem like the momentum had shifted in the middle there, but I think once Scotland got the hang of that zone, it's shifted back again.
Yeah, it's certainly been a really good comeback from Wales. They're able to find that little bit of grit and fire that we've seen from them already. And they'll certainly be able to bring it through for the rest of the tournament. The next game that we've got going on is going to be the last of the round robin play. It will be England versus Ireland. And then we'll be moving into the bronze and gold medal matches.
It's a nice pull there from Aiken. The receiver went to grab. It's a hand block.
Bates with the hand block immediately wiggles the finger in the air in success.
She'll be very chuffed with that.
I did like the look from Davies. Just a quick catch release. Oh, it's a hit block.
She'll absolutely take that.
Mackie with a flick down the line. Williams was kind of poaching in the lane. I think Boxall had hesitated on the cut as a result, and that's kind of caused a miscommunication.
Good handler defense from Wales there, shutting down all the options, so it was a bit of a bailout at the end. Bates dropping in the lane slightly there.
Got the whole downfield to work with. Turner slightly too far. That would have been a heroic grab.
Blading into him, just snuck away.
The stall count was starting to get quite high. It was probably sitting at around about 6 or 7 by the time that it left their hands. Mackie up the line to Boxall, trying to find Boxall at least, but tipped away by Davies.
Again, I think Williams putting the pressure on there, forcing him right in towards the disc where it was a very tight margin to try and get that, and he's rewarded with a turn.
And tit for tat, it just keeps flip-flopping on both ways. The combination of the immense defensive pressure and this wind is just making everything so much harder. Boxall. Stall count rising. Tipped through by Sully. Blocked for Wales. Is he going to get the bookends? Unfortunately not on this occasion.
We saw Alex Hiley there looking fairly free in that underspace. I think it was maybe a little bit too late. She's a big receiver for any team that she's on. Also very confident in this, big hucks. But I wonder if she's drawing the biggest matchup to then get cancelled out of the game.
Quick turnover again, first pass. Wales have the short field. Turner finds Williams and dishes back again. This lethal give-go movement outside the front leaves a lot of space available. Turner had like a little bit of eyes on that bid, but after a little bit of shoulder pain in the previous matchup, I'm not surprised he hesitated.
Yeah. There's a nice inside shot from Sully there. We've seen a few of those that get caught by the wind again. We just keep coming back to the wind.
Kelly, strong reception, finds Bates. Bates also sporting some really powerful sunglasses. Both Kelly and Hiley in the deep space. As you mentioned earlier on, Hiley, a really strong receiver. That one not easy to read whatsoever.
As I've heard it said before, it's tricky to out-throw Alex Hiley. She's fast. But yeah, just bleeding away from her a bit too quick.
Williams looking for Sully. Mackie applying enough pressure. And that is where the hooter will silence the game and completely close it off. That is the largest point separation that we've seen so far. What was the story of that game for you, Hannah?
I feel like it was definitely influenced by the game before. Wales coming into it maybe a little tired, a bit worn out. Scotland, fresh legs. I love the zone look, just changing it up from Wales, putting that pressure on Scotland, but just as they managed to work it through, take apart that zone, then the momentum shifted back again. And sadly, Wales couldn't get back in, but impressive from Scotland. Much more comfortable than we've seen before, I think.
Yeah, wanting to certainly cement themselves as a solid ultimate nation here. Really fantastic showing. Scotland 9, Wales 5. We've got one last game left for today until we move into the bronze and gold medal matches. It is going to be England versus Ireland. Thank you very much for tuning in. For Hannah, I've been Gigi, and we'll see you soon.